is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Herbal, and welcome to the traditional herbal health show. And as usual, we are going to open with the Daily Oriki, Ope Nifu Olorun, Oludumare Oba Ajiki, Mojiloni, Mowogun Mary Aye, Iba Iwo Orun, Iba Ila Orun, Iba Iwo Orun, Iba Ariwa, Iba Gusu, Iba Oba Igbalie, Iba Orun Oke, Iba Baba, Iba Yeye, Iba Atiwo Orun, Ibashe Igungun Kiki Igungun, Ibashe Ori, Ori Ino, Ipori Atiwo Orun, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay, so today we are going to discuss a very, very interesting subject. Today's discussion is going to be about a very common disease and a very common complaint among men. This health concern, I think, is not, it's common, but I do not think that it is something that is clearly understood. All right, in terms of the way that one would take care of their health. All right, what we are going to discuss today is prostate cancer. All right, so anyone who knows someone who suffers with prostate cancer, you could either share, call them, tell them to find us in one of the groups and listen in to this program. What we are going to do today is we are going to discuss the 10, well, I don't want to say most common, but I would say 10 common symptoms of prostate cancer. All right. One of the things about, I want to say Trinidad men, but I think it extends to beyond that. Most Caribbean men, unless they have really terrible health or unless their sexual life is affected, we avoid going to the doctor. All right. In many instances, with a lot of men, they are encouraged to visit the doctor if they are having any sort of pains or problem. It would seem that in the Caribbean in general, women take good care of themselves and they often try to take better care of their husbands. All right. Now, the very first sign or symptom of prostate cancer is the increased need to urinate. All right. Now, I'm not talking about if you were drinking beers. I'm not talking about if you were drinking excessive amounts of fluid. I'm talking about You're consuming the normal amount that you do consume, and you noticed there is an increased need of urination. All right. The second listed symptom is difficulties in starting to urine, meaning you would go to the bathroom, you would be attempting to urinate, and you're going to have a great challenge in starting to urine. But once the urine gets started, you are able to urinate. Now, if you notice this sign that you're having problems starting urination, then yes, you may need to try to find out whether or not your prostate is in good health. All right. The third sign is a weak urine flow, meaning you know you want to urinate plenty, but when you go to the bathroom, just a very small amount of urine is coming out at any one time. All right. The fourth sign is the feeling like the bladder isn't fully empty. You know you've been standing there and you've been urinating, and then the urine flow stops, but you still have the feeling like you need to urinate, but the urine isn't coming. That is also a sign that you may be having issues with your prostate health. The fifth sign is blood in the urine. And this is a very common sign for people who have already been diagnosed and it has been established that they have prostate cancer. All right. Sometimes they go to urinate, and then when they look into the receptacle, they see traces of blood in their urine. All right. Another sign would be blood in the semen. All right. Or what is otherwise referred to as ejaculate. All right. That is when a man has sex with his wife. All right. And when he ejaculates, he notices blood in his semen. Another sign that is quite common, and a lot of people experience it, but they do not attribute it to bad or poor prostate health, is a pain in the lower back. Sometimes a lot of men would say, "Wow, I lift something heavy, boy. Oh, my back only hurting me." That might be a sign of bad prostate health, right? I'll go into a couple of explanations just now, but right now, I'm just listing the various signs. Another one, sign of prostate cancer, is pain while ejaculating. That is when you're having sex and you reach the stage of what we call the orgasm, and you have the discharge of the ejaculate or semen. You feel pain during that time. That is also a sign of poor prostate health and possibly prostate cancer. Another sign, and this is going to be the last one I'm going to mention, is a decrease in the volume of ejaculate or semen. All right. Now, the semen is the mass of the fluid. The sperms are in the semen, and they tend to be uh, in a smaller quantity. All right. Now, another way the prostate cancer can impact ejaculation is that it can reduce the amount of fluid that is released during the process of ejaculation. The prostate is responsible for producing semen. The substance that semen is primarily made of. If the prostate is affected by cancer, the gland's ability to function properly would be impacted. And this can lead to an inability to produce the same amount of semen as did it previously did. All right. Now, in terms of the pain while ejaculating, right? Another symptom that is often associated with the prostate cancer is pain while ejaculating. Prostate cancer can lead to inflammation and swelling in the gland, since the prostate plays a role in the process of ejaculation. If this gland is swollen or inflamed, it could make ejaculation a painful experience. This pain can be experienced during or immediately after ejaculation. Pain surrounding the penis or the bladder during ejaculation. The pain starts right before ejaculation and the pain goes on while urinating after ejaculation. All right. And we're going back up to 7. Now, in terms of the pain in the back, right? I'm reading from an article online called Very Healthy. That's the name of the website. So anybody who wants to follow could go on to Very Healthy, where they talk about symptoms and natural remedies for various diseases. But in this case, we're dealing with the issue of prostate cancer. All right. Now, pain in the back. In the later stages of prostate cancer, the disease can spread to other parts of the body. Which is called metastatic 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 prostate cancer. It can spread to the bones or the nerves of the lower back, as well as the kidney, which is located in the back. If cancer has spread to the kidneys, if you experience any pain in your back, it would appear in the lower portion. Now, if the cancer has spread to the bones in your back, then the pain you experience will likely be felt in the lower portion of the back. However, it could be felt throughout the back depending on the extent to which the cancer has spread. Prostate cancer can cause pain in other parts of the body that are not actually the site of the disease. For instance, prostate cancer can cause pain in the back though the back isn't affected by the disease, right? Also, another thing to consider with the back pain is the prostate is normally around this size, right? Like the size of a walnut, right? But when it is swollen and it becomes a lot larger than this, it could actually press on the vertebrates in the lower back. All right? Now, I'm going to read here about blood in the semen. If there is anything more alarming than finding blood in your urine, it is finding blood in your semen. Semen is a fluid that is released during ejaculation. It contains sperm and other fluids that are predominantly released by the prostate gland. If the prostate is diseased with cancer, blood can mix with the semen, and this can happen when tumors that are associated with the disease advance and starts to bleed. All right, so blood in the semen might be a sign of cancer, prostate cancer in its advanced stage. Okay, so when it reaches that stage, you definitely, if you haven't already gone to your doctor, you need to have yourself properly tested and evaluated, possibly for prostate cancer. All right. The next one is blood in the urine. One of the most alarming symptoms of prostate cancer is seeing the presence of blood in the urine. The blood can twinge the urine with a pink color, or you could see obvious streaks of red. Blood in the urine is referred to as hematuria and can be a symptom associated with a number of conditions, and many of them are not severe. However, if it is associated with prostate cancer, it is definitely worrisome. Blood in the urine usually develops during advanced stages of prostate cancer, and immediate medical attention is necessary. Hematuria can occur with prostate cancer, excuse me, because the tumors that are associated with the disease can bleed. It can also be associated with damage to the ureters, kidneys, bladder, or urethra, which prostate cancer may spread to in its advanced stages. If you notice the appearance of blood in your urine, schedule a prostate exam. All right, people. So, any of the symptoms mentioned, if you see any of those, visit your doctor and have yourself evaluated. Right down to the end, I would talk a little bit about some natural therapies for prostate issues. But for now, I want to be very clear on what are the signs and symptoms so that persons finding themselves with any of these could subject themselves to examination. And we will talk about that also further. Right? Feeling like the bladder isn't fully emptied. Men who have prostate cancer often feel like they have an increased need to go urinate. But when they go to the bathroom, they find that they can only release a little bit of urine since the urine cannot be fully emptied from the bladder. The sensation that the bladder is still full remains. This is a condition that is known as chronic urine retention. It usually develops over several years, but oftentimes it can become more noticeable. Chronic urine retention can occur with prostate cancer because of any restrictions that the tumor or the enlarged prostate is placing on the urethra. If you notice that you are having a difficult time emptying your bladder fully, or that it seems like you have emptied your bladder, but you still feel like it is full, you could be suffering from prostate cancer. All right. So, again, if you see this sign, schedule an examination and go get yourself checked to make sure that you do not have prostate cancer. Another symptom that is commonly associated with prostate cancer is a weak flow of urine. The flow may seem like it is less powerful than it used to be, or it may even come out as nothing more than a dribble, despite how much you have to urinate. You may also experience a disruption in the flow of urine. It may stop and then start again. This symptom of prostate cancer, again, has to do with the position of the prostate, since this gland is situated near the urethra. When it is sick with cancer, it can become inflamed. This inflammation can push on the urethra, which inhibits the flow of urine. Another reason is because a tumor in the prostate could end up pushing on the urethra, which can also impede the flow of urination, disrupting the flow of making it weak. All right. And the very first one I had read was the increased need. All right. Okay. I think I should be at difficulties starting the urination. Though the need to urinate can increase with prostate cancer, it can be difficult to make urine start. Often people who are suffering from prostate cancer finds that they have an increased need to urinate and that their urgency to go is intense. They also have a hard time eliminating their urine. The reason this can happen is because the pressure that the tumor that is associated with prostate cancer may be pushing up on the urethra. The urethra passes urine from the bladder. If the prostate is enlarged as a result of cancer, it can push on the urethra, thus making it difficult to pass urine. A tumor in the prostate may also push on the urethra, making it difficult to urinate. If you are having a hard time getting your urine to start, it could be a strong indicator of prostate cancer. So, again, folks, if you're having difficulties getting your urine started, you need to schedule an appointment and have yourself tested to make sure you do not have prostate cancer. All right. Now, the first one that I mentioned was an increased need to urinate. Right. One of the most common symptoms of prostate cancer is an increased need to urinate. Not only do you feel like you have to urinate more often, but you may also experience a heightened sense of urgency when the need to urinate does arise. The increased need to urinate and the heightened sense of urgency is often more intense during nighttime hours, which makes it difficult to fall asleep or to stay asleep. Since the prostate is located near the nerves that control bladder function, if it becomes enlarged or a tumor is present in it, it can cause an increased need to urinate. This can make you feel like you have to urinate more frequently and quickly, though an increased need to use the bathroom can be a symptom that is associated with several conditions. It's one of the most common signs of prostate cancer. All right, I want to talk about a few points, right? A lot of it was mentioned Most of it was mentioned in the reading that I did. All right. Now, I want to explain. The prostate gland, as I told you, is small, like a walnut, right? But the organ itself, the ureter, passes through the center of the organ. So when the organ is swollen, what it does, the ureter is like a tube. So once it's swollen, the inside presses against the ureter so the urine is not able to pass. So all the urinary problems we spoke about is mainly due to that. And whenever the prostate is swollen and the ureter, the tube is squeezed right in, then what happened? It puts pressure on the bladder above it because the urine is not flowing out. All right. Now, I want to mention a couple of things. The first thing is that a lot of people who suffer from prostate cancer, from what I've seen, right? A lot of single men who go around a lot of women tend, in a lot of instances, to develop prostate cancer and various types of bladder infections. All right. Now, there is a particular bacteria that is responsible for prostate cancer. All right. And this bacteria can spread from one person to another person. So, this is why for single men, we normally recommend for young men, if you're not married, it is not wise to have too many sexual partners. It is sensible to have a stable relationship to avoid yourself probably picking up some of these bacteria that causes prostate cancer. All right. Now, I would quickly mention one or two herbs that could actually be used that is known to destroy the particular bacteria that is responsible for prostate cancer. One of the main local plants that I use, again, just let me give the disclaimer here. We're not giving medical advice. We provide information. If you are sick, see a medical doctor. All right. But if you choose to use alternative medicine as your source of treatment, please find a qualified herbalist. All right. There is a flower that is called bachelor button. Some women grow the plant for decorative purposes. Sometimes it has a nice purplish reddish flower. Some of them has a white flower. This is one of the plants that are known to assist with prostate cancer, right? Especially if you have the infection and your prostate is swollen. What this does is it destroys most of the bacteria associated to prostate problems. All right. One of the things also for men experiencing prostate cancer, it is essential for you to have regular evacuations, meaning you must go to the toilet on a frequent basis. So sometimes if you need to use laxative, stool softener, or in some cases, if your situation is really bad, you may need to use an enema because the prostate lies to the front of the main part of the colon that comes down to your anus. And when it is swollen, it can cause constipation. All right. Also, that constipation would cause the production of many bacteria that would irritate the prostate. All right. A lot of refined foods and products containing harsh chemicals and food colorants and dyes, not recommended. Fried foods, not recommended. A lot of dairy products, not recommended for men with prostate. You have to keep the quality of your blood good and clean. Okay? And there are other herbs that are used to thin the blood that works quite well when men have major prostate problems. All right. And with that, I would like to close off today's session. But remember, that little wonder herb is called bachelor button. All right. That is the most common one used in the region for prostate problems. All right. There are a couple of others, right? Including herbs that would thin the blood so that circulation is increased in the gland so that the swelling would go down. All right, there are many, many different herbs, but again, the one that we know for a fact that works quite well with issues of the prostate is the bachelor button. All right, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give information concerning educational opportunities for persons wanting to learn, whether it's about health, whether it's about Ifa, whether it's about astrology, whether it's about etymology, whether it is about Orisha. We have several platforms that gives you the opportunity to learn as much as you can about the various subjects that I've mentioned. All right. We have, and I'm going to list out the various groups that we have on Facebook where you would actually have an opportunity to learn of the things that I've just mentioned. All right. We have the Ifa Orisha Tradition Discussion Group of TNT. We have the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network. We have the Ifa Bemero, home of Ifa Orisha Tradition. We have the Ifa Orisha Institute of Sacred and Divine Sciences. We have the Ifa Orisha Tradition Teaching Group of TNT. We have the Traditional Herbal Health Network International. We have the Orisha Baptist Small and Medium Business Alliance. We have the Ifa Orisha Community Congress. We have the African Indigenous Tradition Community. And we also have the Orisha Baptist Teaching Moments and the Iantis Diasporic Venture. Beside these, we also have a YouTube channel that is called the Ifa Bemero, home of Ifa Orisha Tradition, where you can view all these videos and streams, as well as other videos that provides a range of information on every subject, including finance, education, Ifa, and Orisha teachings. All right. Now, beside the social media and the YouTube, we have classes that are held every Tuesday by the African Indigenous Tradition community at 5 p.m. at the Barataria Community Center, located on 6th Avenue opposite the Recreation Ground. Again, the African Indigenous Tradition community have classes every Tuesday at 5 p.m. at the Barataria Community Center, 6th Avenue, opposite the Recreation Ground. Beside that, we have virtual classes, right? On a Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., we have astrology classes. And on a Friday at 5 p.m., we have etymology classes. All right. Beside this program, which is the traditional herbal health show, we also have the Ifa Bemero show each Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. And on a Friday, we have the Ifa Orisha Tradition Community Discussion Program at 6:30 p.m. All right. And with that, I would like to say Odabo and see you next week. Remember to like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube channel, which is called the Ifa Bemero, home of Ifa Orisha Tradition. Odabo.